Good morning, guys. Yes. Oh my gosh, I left my coffee on the other side of the room, but that's okay. I do have this other little cup of coffee. Well, let me turn off my ringer because I don't want any distractions. So let me also put my other phone on do not disturb. Hold on. Let's do that. Cute. Good
What is
morning. How are
going
you?
on? I'm good. How are you?
I am amazing.
So we did it.
So
We
let's
did
just
it.
jump right into it,
Let's do it.
school calling right at 11, holding things back a little bit.
But it's okay.
So
Doing what you got to do to be a good mother.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's just jump right into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone, and we'll get right into the conversation.
Okay, so I'm Q Jackson. I'm the founder of Quintessential Branding. We do brand development and public relations services. I'm also a food blogger. I am a co-host of a radio show. It's T Marie Radio Show with T and Q. I am also one of the editors at the Quintessential Gentleman magazine. And yeah, all these other amazing things that I do. Those are the main ones.
Yes. So while I type in what we're talking about, just go ahead and give them a little bit of like a brief background on what we're going to be discussing and why we are discussing this today.
Yes. So, for those of you who follow me on Facebook or we're friends on Facebook, about a week or so ago, I put up a post that says, Black women don't like to date bisexual men. And because of
Right.
that conversation, it actually ended up going viral on a couple of internet sites, and like the comments were like crazy from black women, from gay men, from straight, like a look from everybody. So, Kareem and I were having a conversation offline, and we were like, look, we need to have this conversation because these are conversations that people are afraid to have. They don't have these conversations, so we needed to have it. We did part of our
Right.
podcast on Saturday for Monday, and we felt like this was a conversation that we needed to bring you guys into because we're all somewhat affected by this unfortunate reality.
Absolutely. So, yes. So, um, thank you so much for bringing everyone up to speed while I typed in our topic at the bottom. That's teamwork, teamwork.
Yes.
So, yeah, so we wanted to bring the conversation on live and have you guys chime in with us just to talk about sexuality in the Black community. I know for some of you, you're like, oh my God, this is so early. I feel like there's no time really to talk about sexuality. We're not talking about R-rated things. We're just speaking on sexuality in the Black community. And a few of the topics that we did touch on while we were discussing this on the podcast was how Black men are always made to feel like they have to be overly masculine about everything.
Yeah.
And since they are always made to feel like they have to be overly masculine about everything, it also affects how they feel about sexuality as well. So it also affects how Black women feel about Black men and their sexuality, how over
Mm-hmm.
masculine you guys are supposed to be, or your masculinity, period. So we definitely wanted you guys to chime in with us. I don't know if anyone has made any comments yet.
No,
I
not
haven't really
yet.
looked through the comments.
Everybody's tuning in, but no one's made any comments
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I didn't miss out on anyone saying anything.
No, no, no. I'm
So
looking.
I just see people saying, hey, hey. So, where do you want to start? Like, You're the guest of honor. Tell me where you would like
So
to start with
I
this
guess we can
conversation
start from
on
where
live.
we started before as to why
Okay.
that question was posed. So
Okay.
a lot of people didn't know this, including Cream, but I am actually bisexual. A lot of people think
Yes.
that I'm, just this gay guy. No, I'm not. I enjoy everybody actually. But the
Mm.
unfortunate thing is when I want to enjoy the company of a woman, it's kind of hard to find one that's more, that's accepting of my truth. And my truth is I like men and I like women. So, I wanted to know, like, was it true that most black women don't like bisexual men? Because from what I've experienced, the black women that I've been interested in, they're not interested in it. I find other cultures more accepting of, people's differences and people's truth and, not our
Right.
own. So, yeah, it's
I see
unfortunate.
Eris. Eris said team buy in the building.
Team
Um,
Biden, yes. And that's
now
another thing.
we
Biphobia.
did, I was going to say you did touch on that though,
Yes.
that it seems as if our community is more accepting of black women being bi than they are men.
Yeah.
But if Eric doesn't mind, I know Eris could probably type a book, but maybe in the comments she could just let us know if it's different for her, if she's found that people look at her sideways. Because I think sometimes people like the thought of some people, I don't want to say people, I think some people, especially men, like the thought of seeing two women together. So that's
Right.
like a turn on. But I don't really think that when they think of two women together, I don't think they see them as a relationship. It's more like a sexual thing, I think.
Yeah, and it
Sometimes
is
treat it like that.
very interesting because once again, if I want to,
She said biphobia is real.
yeah, it absolutely is. If I want to be with a woman, she has an issue with the fact that I like men. But then if I want to be with a guy, unfortunately, he has an issue with the fact that I like women. So it's like the people that you choose to date or that I've been encountering only want you to be one thing. Crazy thing, had a conversation not too long ago with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and we were just having a conversation about our lives and where things changed and what could have been and what should have been and things like that. And she made the statement that you know, I thought we were going to be, but when, you told me about this other part of you, it made me very uncomfortable. And, I couldn't see myself with you anymore. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, really? Because for the most part, now she's a lesbian. So you have an issue with me dating guys, but it's okay for you to date women. It's okay for a woman to be, I guess the term is gender fluid nowadays. They got all these terms out here now, but it's not okay
Yes.
for me to be because if I'm going to be your man, then I have to be, only into women, only into this, only into that. But if I'm telling you the
She's
truth about what happened?
Molly. Eris said Molly on insecure head ass.
And T. Marie says it's seen more as experimenting when it comes to women.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I
And I
can,
think Eris said something. She said it's fetishized on both sides, but mainly for men, it's behind closed doors.
and let's talk about why it's behind closed doors because a lot of our society, you know, comes from the church. Our families taught us, what they learned in the church and things like that. And homosexuality
Hmm.
was one of those things that were banned. So, as much as we progress and become more accepting of a lot of things, we still have, those things that other people say to us in the back of our head. And because of,
Hmm.
how your uncle, may have called you, yes, I'm about to use these terms, people. So please don't get offended. You might have been called
Right.
a sissy. You may have been called a fag. You may have been called you may have been called a variety of names that made
You
you
got that
feel
boy
that.
got sugar in his tank. That's the
Oh
favorite
yeah,
one.
yeah,
That boy
that was
got
one.
sugar in his tank.
Or is he like that? Things like that. So when you're
Yeah.
doing these things, you got what these people have called you, what these people are saying to you in the back of your head. So it comes with a lot of shame, unfortunately. And you don't
Hmm.
feel like you're free enough to be yourself. So you have to hide what you're doing. If you guys had the opportunity, oh no, they didn't have the opportunity to listen to the podcast, but we'll go back
Not yet.
later.
You will.
But
You will.
from the conversation that we had, when I started discovering the fact that I liked guys a lot more, I was around 16, 17 years old. It wasn't until I was about 17, 18, um, until I took my first leap into the gentleman pool. And
Wait, before you get into that, we did talk about this on the podcast.
mm-hmm.
Let's dispel this one myth that people, especially in the Black community, seem to love
And
to
I
put out
think I
there
know
is
which
that
one you're
it
talking
is
about.
not the only reason you like boys is because someone touched you when you were little. And we did
No.
talk about this on the
Yeah,
podcast.
we
And
absolutely did.
I asked you about that, and you were very open, and you said, no, that did not happen to me. I'm attracted to men because I'm attracted to men.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that was, when I had the conversation with my mother years ago. That was one of the things that she asked. A lot of people, when you come out to your parents, there are two things that they're going to do. Well, there are a couple things that they're going to do. Either they're going to accept it or they're going to reject it. And then if they accept it, there are two things that they're going to ask. First question, did somebody touch you? Second question, what did I do or didn't do to make you like this? Mom, Dad, you didn't do anything to make me like this. This is who I am, and I'm accepting it, and that's why I'm sharing it with you in hopes that you'll understand and eventually accept it.
right,
And yeah, a
exactly.
lot of people, have had, those situations where, their sexuality has been in question because some unfortunate things that have happened to them. But, for
Hmm.
me, I was not one of those. I was a person that used to watch Cinemax and HBO late nights. So, when it came to, that whole sex thing, I was very inquisitive. So,
You were ready. You were
I
ready.
wanted
But
to know.
yeah,
I
so
was.
you
Hmm.
wanted to get into it. So I want you guys, I purposely didn't, I was going to post it this weekend, but I purposely didn't put it up because I wanted you guys to at least, um, of course, Q is very transparent about his sexuality, his life, and that's the purpose of this was to start this conversation, like I said on the podcast. But I wanted you guys to
Hmm.
just, I know there are people on here that know me, there are people on here that know him, but I still wanted people to just see him speak about his truth live before you judge him from the podcast, because you know how people, they have their preconceived ideas. So I wanted to use
Of
our live
course.
to start the dialogue, open the dialogue. I wanted them to get to know you live in person and then make them say, well, what else did he talk about on this podcast that I missed? Because he did get into a few things on the podcast. But we wanted to bring this conversation, like I said, on live because I see there are a lot of people commenting and thanking us for discussing this and thanking us for bringing this conversation to live. So I'm just happy to see that there are people on here that appreciate this conversation and are happy that you are and appreciative of you, speaking your truth and being transparent. That's why we wanted to come live because we know that there are people out there still in their adulthood that still aren't able to be transparent about their life, be
Yeah.
authentically themselves around everyone. Sometimes people have certain groups that they can be authentically themselves, and then they go around another group and then they're someone else. So
Yeah.
this is just to encourage you guys to just find, of course, we always say find your family, which I think most of us have done that, but find your family, find people that support you. But also on the flip side, I do understand that a lot of people are afraid to live in their truth, because there are a lot of people out there that don't believe in people being gay. And there are a lot of people in the LGBT community, in the Black community, that have lost their lives and continue to lose their lives for being authentically themselves. So, as someone that is very transparent about their life, is that something that you worry about? Or do you think that only certain groups within the LGBT community are targeted when it comes to the being murdered, or, fearing for your
Um,
life?
Truth be told, nowadays, I mean, I'm not really too concerned about that because thank God for me, I've been living a pretty safe life when it comes to things like that. But I'm more afraid of going out here and getting shot by the cops than I am of expressing who I am. And because of platforms like this and conversations like this, hopefully eventually one day the world starts to soften up a little bit more and appreciate people for who they really are. Because truth be told, for those people who come from those religious backgrounds and don't want to accept gay people because, the Bible says this and the Bible says that. Well, truth be told, the Bible says that you're not supposed to cheat on your spouse. You're not supposed to be jealous of your neighbor. You're not supposed to, and I'm not fully all into that. So, I'm kind of paraphrasing all this stuff here. But there are plenty of other things that are not supposed to be done that we do on a daily basis. So if I'm the type of person that wants to like men and women, don't judge me because there are plenty of things, if that was the case, that I could be judging. I could judge you for judging me, which is something that the Bible does not appreciate. So no,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not afraid. I just hope that speaking the truth will help somebody else to get comfortable enough to share their truth. You don't have to share it with the
Yeah.
world, but sharing your
Right.
truth, it's a freeing experience. Trust me, I know.
I can only imagine. I mean, who wants to carry the weight of their own truth on their shoulders when all you really want to be is who you are
Yeah.
authentically? It's like this, who you are. And I just feel like you should be able to be exactly who you want to be without feeling guilty about it, especially if it's something that you can't help. Like, this is how you feel, this is who you are, and why should you be made to feel guilty because this is how your sexuality is made up. This was make you, this is what makes you feel good.
And
Um,
if we
and it's
all
just
get to
crazy
the
to me.
place of, not really living our lives based on how other people feel we should, if we all lived our lives not caring about what other people will say about us, if we all lived our lives making decisions based on how it will make us feel as opposed to what somebody else would think or feel, then a lot of us can honestly, truthfully live in our own truth because it's us. When we go to sleep at night, the decisions we make, yeah, they may affect other people, but they affect us most. When we wake up in the morning, if you look in the mirror, the only person that you're looking back at is yourself. So the person that you should be trying to appeal to and please is yourself because these other people are not out here living your life. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And I just think that, going back to what you said, there are a lot of people that are doing things that their religion, that's against what their religion would have them to be. But it's just amazing how the one sin, quote unquote, that everyone is fighting against is
homosexual,
homosexuality.
yeah,
Um, when everyone else is free to fornicate,
up in the
except
church,
for
but don't get me started on that.
listen, absolutely, everyone else is free to fornicate as long as it's not with someone that has the same body parts as you. You're free to fornicate, and it's such a double standard. And I just don't. It's just baffling to me why people actually care what someone does with their body parts. And as I told you before, as long as it's consensual and you're not doing things to kids and elderly people, do whatever it is that makes you happy, as
And
long
I'm
as you
glad
aren't
you just
harming
said that.
someone else.
I'm glad you just said that because that's another thing that we talked about. Now, we talked about when you share the fact that you may be gay or bisexual, or whatever it is with people. When it comes to guys, the first thing that a lot of people are thinking is that you were touched, inappropriately by a cousin or uncle or whoever it is. But then let's also talk about the fact that as a guy who likes guys, they think you like little boys too, and they
Oh, I
automatically
did.
want to
Yes.
put that pedophile thing on you, which is very unfortunate. Me personally, I like men, not boys. Okay, so ladies, y'all don't have to worry about that. Everybody is not a pedophile.
Right. In the gay community. I don't they do put those two terms together. They put pedophile and homosexual together when it comes to men. But I've seen it where people have said the same thing about ladies as well. When they see two parents, right, two women or two men raising kids, they automatically think that somehow, some way, their sexuality is going to rub off on the kids.
Yeah.
I do know kids are influenced by a lot of things. And look, Eric said projection, projection, projection. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Kids
Yep.
are influenced by a lot of things, but I would just have to say, as a parent, my family has friends of the family that have been around my kids for the longest time, and yes, yes. J Hall CLE, aka Prof. He says we fear what we don't understand. Absolutely. And it's amazing to me how adults love to use kids as an excuse to say why they are against certain things and say, oh, kids, they're they're this, they're that. And yes, kids are impressionable, but kids aren't as judgy as adults are. Because as I
They
was
are.
saying, we have a friend of the family that has been around my kids for a very long time, and they've even worn like they've dressed up as a woman for Halloween. They've brought like their boyfriend over or whatever. And the crazy thing about it is that they had no idea that this person was gay until I think I mentioned something, and I just said it very casually because I just automatically assumed that they knew. And my son was like, "What? He's gay?" I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah." I said, "You didn't know? Who did you what did, he was like, "No, I just thought he was different, but I never thought that he was gay." He just said, I just thought he liked to dress different. I just thought that
He was a
that's just
snazzy
how he
dresser.
was. He's like, I never, yes, he just thought that it wasn't even snazzy. He just really does dress different. But he's like, I just thought he was different, but I never put the two things together. And so I asked him, I said, well, what is it in your mind as kids? Like, what do you think being gay is? It was like, honestly, I don't even think about it. Like, my son just said, unless someone comes to me and tells me that they are, I just don't assume that people are. And he's like, I don't walk around trying to figure out who is and who isn't. He's like, it doesn't bother me. I don't think about these things. So um when I
Unfortunately,
see people say, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, unfortunately, people are very accepting, at a younger age. It's not until,
Yeah.
they're, something is impressed upon them or they're taught something or they see that sort of hatred in their home or, their friends that they're trying to, be cool with and things like that. It's not until things like that, that judgment and that hate and things like that come about. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, unfortunately, like they said, we fear what we don't know, but people try to vilify people who make them think outside of their box or outside of their comfort zone.
Their
And
comfort zone.
because
Yeah.
I do this and that's not something you're comfortable with, you're gonna hate it, and you're gonna get the world to hate it because you're not comfortable. Let's talk about this.
Absolutely.
A couple weeks ago, the little boozy, whatever, him, that thing where it was reported, well, by him, that he paid a prostitute, pretty much the family prostitute, to orally pleasure his 12 or 13-year-old son. And the thing is,
His
if
12-year-old son.
12-year-old son, a lot of us have been seeing, the things that he's been saying on social media. And, for the most part, he's been not supportive of the homosexual community. And a lot of the conversation kind of revolves around homosexuality. So when the comment earlier said projection, 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 that's immediately what I thought about. Nobody's asking you, sir, to comment on homosexuality or say what you do or do not like. But a lot of times people feel the need to, be big and bad against something before it ever gets to the place where people would ever think that thing about them. Like, you don't want your child to be gay or the world to influence. The world can't influence your child to be gay if that is what, who your child is. But you're influencing him.
Wait, let me cut you off for 1 second, because I have to say something so I don't forget. When you saying that, it's amazing to me that people think that kids can be influenced to be gay, but if children were that impressionable as far as sexuality, then wouldn't homosexual kids be pressured to be straight? Because everything in the media, everything in our life, everything in our religion is around basically being straight, being heterosexual. So if children can be pressured into being gay, then why can't gay children be pressured to be straight? Like, why doesn't it work in the reverse? You get what I'm saying? It's like
they do. Remember, I don't know if they still have them, but the conversion camps.
But no, what I mean by that is that most of the time it goes back to what I was saying about, my kids, when people are saying, well, when kids see this, they're gonna think this, or if you put this on TV, then it's gonna make all the kids turn gay. But it's like, but there's been so much straight stuff on TV, it hasn't made all the gay people turn straight without conversion camps. You get what I'm saying? They feel like being gay is like this magic fairy dust that can float through the air and turn everyone into being gay. But why isn't there a magic heterosexual dust that can do the same thing?
Some of that, sprinkle a little bit of that straight dust on you real quick. It does nothing but make you uncomfortable.
If changing someone's sexuality was that simple, then everyone would be straight.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, it does make you very uncomfortable. I don't remember exactly what show and or movie it was, but watching stuff with my parents before I was comfortable with who I was, like when the gay scene or the gay character would come on, I'm sitting there, I'm real still, but I'm kind of looking around, making sure nobody look at me to, kind of, say like, what is he feeling? How's he feeling about that? But
here's your part, Q. Right. There you go.
Because everybody always thinks the gay guy is the gay or bisexual or whatever guy is, extremely flamboyant and things like that. So automatically people are uncomfortable. People don't want their kids around. I've had family members, like I said before in previous conversation, that felt, because I was who I was, they didn't want that sort of influence around their kids. It's very unfortunate because, like, me and the kids now, 10 years later, and they're all grown up, we're all very cool. But, I just find it to be very unfortunate that people can't teach acceptance in the home. People, can't learn to love people for who they really are. I've never come to any of my family members sideways. I've never come to other people sideways when it's come to that, or try to influence them to be like this because it would make me comfortable. I'm a lover of all people. I'm a respecter of all people. And it's just like, why can't we get that in return? And then I see an earlier comment, hey, Time to Shine Radio said, what about Magic's son or D Wade's son? And, it seems like it's more acceptable for celebrity kids to be gay, than the normal regular person. And it does kind of seem like that, but at the end of the day, everybody's going to have something to say. When E.J. Johnson came out and, those dresses and heels.
people still talk about them too. I think the reason it seems like they're more accepted is because their parents have a platform where you can actually hear their parents' voice.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Ray, you know, Q,
the kids don't
they're his
care
parents
though,
aren't exactly, exactly.
because they're put in a
Their
different.
platforms are just bigger.
Yeah, exactly. It does, because it's like not EJ Johnson. I remember years ago when they were on the cover of like Jet magazine or Ebony magazine. He was a cool little young kid, but then it's like he disappeared, and then when he reappeared, he was wearing the this and that, and he was very comfortable with himself. He was very unapologetic, because it's not like I have to worry about coming to work your job because my daddy is Magic Johnson. I don't need your approval, because the conversations that I've had with my parents. Like, Magic Johnson is one of the greatest basketball players out here.
Hmm.
And he came out, and if you can teach hate,
Well, we got a lot of comments in here. I'm gonna read some in a minute, but thanks, Prof. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But I think that it goes back to that saying that says misery loves company. And we did talk about this on the podcast, which I suggest you guys to go and listen to after we're done with this. But misery loves company. And it's sad to
yeah,
say that a lot of people are miserable deep down inside, and they haven't found their self-love yet. And no matter who it is, whether whatever your sexuality is, I think that when you are not happy within yourself, you project your self-hate onto other people because you don't like seeing other people happy. It doesn't matter whether you're gay, straight, non-binary, whatever your sexual preference or orientation is. I think people that are miserable, just it's hard for them to see other people be authentically happy, and they project their misery onto other people. They project their self-hate onto other people because they don't want you to be happy because they're not happy deep down inside. So I think that that's
yeah,
why it's hard for some people. And a lot of times, not a lot, but in our community, one of the biggest things that we're taught besides religion is you better respect your elders, you better respect your parents. No matter what your parents do, they are always right. You can't talk back to your parents. You can't, there's all these things within the Black community, these rules that we have. And the last thing that you would ever want to think is that your parents aren't happy, that your parent is miserable, that your parent can project self-hate, or that your parent can project negative things onto you, but they're human. And they can. And a lot of parents do. But in the Black community, we are taught that no
yeah,
matter what your parents say to you, no matter what they do to you, you have to be okay
yeah.
with it. And they're always right. And they're always right.
They're always they're always right, and that's a very good point. A lot of parents teach what they were taught and expect it to only be like that. But thankfully, when it came to my parents, aside from, me telling them that I like guys and things like that, there were a lot of things that my parents were very receptive of. So it allowed my sister, myself, and my brothers to teach my parents things that they may not have known. Because, yeah, absolutely right that, if I'm a parent, what I say goes and what you say don't goes. But, thankfully, I have the type of parents that allowed me to teach them certain things. Hell, my first tattoo, my father said the only way you'll ever get a
Right.
tattoo is if I get a tattoo. My father said the only way you'll ever, because first of all, he was very against guys with earrings, especially having two,
And
because it's
did you wear
like,
a dress?
and he said this to me: if you're gonna wear earrings, you might as well wear a dress. Well, guess what? I got my first earring at like 17, and he got one too. Like, I was
Yeah.
able to sway my father into understanding, how I felt. We don't
Mhm.
have to, be feminine and things like that to do the things we want to do. What makes us comfortable and things like that. And he loves his earring diamonds more
Yes,
than I do. So, just being those parents that
absolutely. And
allow
I think that once
yourselves to be
we
taught, like it's
continue to have conversations like
continuously
this and be okay
evolving. That's the
with
only way that we'll be,
really
better people.
and truly being honest, really and truly being transparent, not just with our family, not just with our friends, but as a community as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
um, then we'll be able to move forward. Because I know a lot of times we have this discussion like, when is the Black community going to move forward? Why are we constantly going through the same things
Yeah.
over and over and over again? All these things are happening to us. Why can't we get our community together? Why can't we get our neighborhoods together? Because we have to sit down and start having tough conversations first. We have to start um, finding self-love first. You can't love anybody else. You can't help anybody else if you haven't loved and helped yourself first. Like your first project is
Yeah.
you. Your first project is you. I can't, how will I know how to love you if I don't even love myself? If I haven't learned how to love the person that I'm with
Exactly.
every day, how can I learn to love someone that's not me? And I think it goes, we have to do that first. We have to not be, we talked about this in the podcast too. We have to understand mental health and be okay with therapy, being okay with being mentally healthy, understanding and relearning what real happiness is. I think we haven't really learned what it feels like to be happy. And there's a lot of things that have gone against our community that has affected the
Yeah.
way that we feel about ourselves and the way we feel about each other. And we have to do the work. Um,
Yeah.
and like I said, first of all, we all need therapy. Period. There's trauma that has been passed down through our blood. We need therapy first. And with that therapy, we can become mentally healthy. And becoming mentally
Yeah.
healthy, we can then have self love and be strong. And we can project love onto each other. We can project strength onto each other. We can project community, support, and all these other amazing adjectives onto each other. But it's really hard to do that if you're carrying around trauma. If you're carrying around,
Yeah. If you're carrying around the weight of disappointment, guilt, you're carrying around the weight of your family. For me, this social distancing has been a very good time because for me, it's been one of the times in like over the last 10 years that I've been like the least stressed in life about a lot of things, and not having the opportunity to constantly go around people to these events that we attend or travel or things like that. It's forced me into a more so quiet place to look back at the person that is looking back at me when I look in the
yes,
mirror. And it's forcing me to work on a lot of things because once again, like you said, if you can't like who you are, then how do you expect somebody else to like who you are? So don't look at this as a bad time or as a time to get some unemployment or a stimulus check. Look at it as the time to do the work that needs to be done to make you a better person so that when we do come out of this, you're somebody that the world
exactly.
appreciates. You're somebody that the world needs. Hell, you're somebody that the world likes. Because a lot of people, don't like you because you don't like yourself. So, let's all do what we have to do to be a better person. And, let's pour into those people in our lives. I'm telling you, I don't have a lot of people that I call friends. I have a lot of associates, but the people that I call friends, when I tell you they are rock solid and never wavering, and I absolutely love it and I appreciate them. If you have friends that pour into your life and allow you to pour into theirs, those are the type of friends you need to keep. If you can't accept truth coming from a friend, then that's not the friend for you. If they
Hmm.
can't accept truth coming from you, vice versa, that's not the friend for you. Get you some people in life that are going to help propel you forward. And just be better to yourself. So if we've learned anything throughout this social distancing,
Yeah.
is to do the work to be better, be more accepting, and
What
to,
the heck
hey,
is going
everybody
on?
that's
I
just
know they're
tuning in, we're
joining
having
towards
a
the end, but
conversation
I'm
about
gonna make sure I post
sexuality in the
the
Black community.
replay and get
Yeah, because
everything
I see a
over
lot of
to
people joining, and I'm
cue
like,
this. I
bro,
got a
what
bunch of
the
stuff to send him
hell
this
are they
evening.
talking about?
It's just been so much going on. Good things for me, but I have been so extremely
Yes.
busy. My son's graduating. But anyway, listen, going back.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. So going back to what you were saying about this quarantine,
Yes.
I like
Class of
you, I'm always on
2020.
the
Shout
go, and
out
I've
to
been on the
class of
go for
2020.
years, like years. And um I love what I do. I don't ever want to stop doing what I'm doing, but I will say this, I am so grateful for this quarantine right now. Like,
Hmm.
I am so grateful for this time alone. Not really alone, but you get what I'm saying. Like, not going to events, not having
Yeah.
something to do that isn't for me. I always have something to do that involves other people,
Right.
this event, this client thing, that client thing. And I just needed
Hmm.
everything I've been doing during this quarantine has been something for me and what I wanted to
Yes.
do. Something I just needed a break. Absolutely.
You needed
Yeah,
a
because
break.
they're
You
not
needed
going
to
anywhere.
reset. You needed to all of
I'm
that
not gonna
stuff
lie, so I
that
haven't been
is
online
for you.
shopping.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna
and that
say,
bank account is
listen,
looking nice too.
Jeff Bezos,
Absolutely.
listen, you did what you had to do, okay? You did what you had to
Uh,
do because I'm loving
Now
those
shout
boxes
out to
coming in.
Amazon
But
though,
I will say
and
that I have
Walmart
been
for
so
all of this.
grateful um, for this time of not having to do something for
Yes,
someone else
you
because
did.
even though I love what I do, you don't realize how much of yourself you give to other people until you don't have to do it anymore. And I just realized how much I was doing for so many people. And I'm like,
You don't have to do it anymore. I, you know what? Mm, that right there. You don't realize how much of yourself you give to
mhm.
people until you don't have to do it anymore. When I tell you, that kind of is the basis of this conversation, about sexuality in the Black community and how we feel like we owe other people explanations about who we are, why we feel like we owe the direction of our lives to other people is because we feel like we have to give people what they gave us. Some of us feel like we owe people. Some of us feel like we don't want to disappoint
Yeah.
people. Some of us have all of these different feelings, but the basis of that feeling is other people instead of yourself. So if you
Yeah.
once again, if you start to realize that what you feel matters, what you want matters, who you love matters, who loves you matters. Hell,
And
that's
love
nigga. I don't
feels
give a
so
damn who.
good. Love feels
Whether it's
so
a man
good.
or a woman. Look, if you
Period.
love
Love
me and
feels
I love
amazing.
you
Real
and we loving each
real
other
love
right,
feels
that
amazing. I
is
don't
all
care what
that matters.
anyone
And that
says.
should
People
be
that have
all
been
that
hurt, I
matters to
understand. We've
your
all had some type
friends.
of hurt. But when you find real love, it
Yeah.
feels so
Love wins.
amazing. And as human beings, we we need other human beings. And I think that's the other thing that this quarantine has taught people is that you actually need other
Yeah.
human beings. After a while, being by yourself, you feel and you crave. And it has nothing to do with anything sexual. It's just you feel and crave being around other
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
feeling love and positive vibes and good vibes, which is, I talked about that on the podcast. I said, I'm all about just positive vibes and having people around me that are gonna be on a higher
Yeah.
like it's easy at love. You actually have to work at positivity. And I think that's why a lot of people just don't want to do it because it's so much easier to be negative and all these other things. But I know that if you're carrying around positive vibes and you're vibrating higher, that lets me know that you are
Yes.
willing to work at any type of relationship that we have, whether it be friendship, a relationship, companionship. Um, because if you're willing to take that time to work on yourself and work on your vibes, I know that you'll be willing to take that time to do the same thing for me. And if I'm willing to do that with myself, then I'm willing to do that for you as well, which makes it a great relationship. So,
Yeah,
um, I just, yes,
absolutely. Yes.
you know what?
Love people. Love who loves you. Love yourself.
Look,
If you're
listen,
gay, be
cute. Don't be
gay.
trying to
If you're
sprinkle.
bisexual,
Don't be
be
trying to sprinkle
bisexual.
that fairy
I
juice
mean, if
up
you're
in
straight,
my
be straight.
life, trying to
That's
turn
okay too.
everybody gay.
But yeah,
Don't be
just
trying to
freaking
sprinkle
love,
that in
man.
my life. Don't, don't come over
I mean,
here
if
with
you
your
want to be
magic
straight,
fairy gay
boom,
dust
there
trying to
you
turn
go.
everybody gay. Cause that's what I say. Did y'all see Cream's live this morning?
The
She was
man,
over there. She
oh,
had some guy on there.
oh
She's
shit.
over there just condoning him, just spreading fairy dust just everywhere. But but yeah, so I really
Hey,
appreciate everyone
condoning
that's
people
tuned
to
in
be
right now. We
freaking
have a lot of
happy.
comments. We're not ignoring you
I
guys. I
approve
just like to
that
be engaged in the
message.
conversation, so I'm trying to read the comments and look at you. They are coming in. Yeah, yeah. So I see. Yeah,
Yeah, and the comments just kept on coming. Like they start coming at a little faster pace than the beginning. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. So if you guys who are tuned
yeah.
in
You
appreciate a
have the little
conversation
hearts
like
on the
this
side,
and feel
letting us
like
know.
conversations like this need to continue to
Yes,
happen in our
yes.
community, please go ahead and comment, whether it's a heart,
Absolutely. And make
whether
sure you
it's a
guys search
thumbs up,
Conversations
whether it's
with
the
Cream
fire
on
emoji,
your
whatever it
favorite
is,
podcast
just
platform. As you
let us
guys
know
know, I
that you
come
guys
live and I do
appreciate
coffee with
this
Cream, even though I
conversation.
left my coffee on the other side of the room. But I always I have to show my coffee at the beginning of the live. But yeah, so also make sure you follow Q. I know there's some people here from my page, there's some people here from Q's page. My bio doesn't really tell everything that I do. Just click on that thing and tap a couple of the links and then you'll figure out what I do. It is what it is. But Q, I am so grateful. Again, like I said, for you for doing this. And being willing to be transparent. Look, I still got tears coming down from laughing, but for willing to be transparent and open about your sexuality and having this much needed conversation. I hopefully we can keep this conversation going because I know, like you said, your topic on Facebook went viral, and this is a topic that people love to talk about. Um, but I'm just happy that we were able to contribute to it in a positive way. I'm pretty sure people will come over and say, well, it just seemed all one sided. That's your point of view.
Yeah,
I put something up on Facebook yesterday and I said, no matter how you package something, people are still going to focus on
absolutely.
what they want to focus on. And there's nothing you can do about that. So
Hmm.
I'm just very appreciative for you for doing this. I'm appreciative for everyone that is commenting. People are saying thanks, Q. I saw some people thanking you for being transparent. I saw
Absolutely.
some people thanking you for being open and honest and willing to discuss this on live, because it does take bravery to do this. And I also want to thank everyone, including yourself. I said this on the podcast, that's around me that bring positive vibes and support, because that's very hard to come by. Very, very, very hard to come by. Not just, oh, let me just double tap something. But it's very hard to find people that truly and honestly support you and
Yeah,
feel positive about the things that you have going on in their life. And most of the time, people that feel positive about the things you have going on in your life, it's because they have a lot of things going on in their life and they're happy. So I'm just very appreciative to have people like you that have enough self-love that you're willing to pour a little bit into me so that I can pour a little bit back into you. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
you for that.
See, and I
Hear me
appreciate
again?
you too. And I appreciate you for sharing your platform so that we can have the conversations like
Yeah.
sexuality in the black community for those who are just tuning in. Um, and, you know, when this is all over, like I know we had to cancel the Cleveland Lunch and Learn, but when I tell you I am so excited to pick this back up, a couple of people that are
Tell
going to
everybody
be on the
what the
Cleveland
lunch
Lunch and
and learn
Learn are in
is.
here.
Tell everyone
Cream,
what
you're
it
going to be
is.
on the
It
Cleveland Lunch
started
and
as the
Learn. So
ATL
there are a
lunch
lot
and
of
learn.
conversations that started
Yes.
today, but will continue to happen. You know, whether it's in a small group of people.
You're welcome.
What? Well, oh,
So
you said
thank
what it is.
you.
Okay. So, ooh, in November it'll be 6 years. So 6 years ago, um, okay. So 6 years ago, a media colleague and I, she actually was in here earlier, um, came together and decided to bring people an event that they did not have to pay for, but would feed them so much. We get, you know, between 5 and 8 people together on a panel. It started off as the ATL Lunch and Learn. We get people on a panel. We provide you with lunch and industry insiders. So we've had everybody from reality show stars, musicians. We've had the people behind the scenes, the producers, the agents, the managers, and things like that. We've had so many people from so many different genres come and share their experience with people that were willing to listen. People who are trying to get in these different
Yes.
industries, and they're able to connect with these people. They're able to be fed mentally and in the stomach because we provide some good food. So for me, being from Cleveland, you know, I realized I'm like, well, damn, I've been in Atlanta this year for 13 years, and we've been doing the lunch and learn. I'm at the point I was thinking about it for 5 years, and I'm like, it's time to branch out. And what place better than your hometown? Because I see, you know, that Cleveland has its needs, but I also see that there are a lot of amazing people in that city, you know, who need that platform, and you know, hopefully it'll allow Cleveland to kind of get back to what it was, or not necessarily what it was, but something better. So,
Right.
although the Cleveland Lunch and Learn was set for June because of what's going on in the
Amen.
world, we had to postpone it, not indefinitely because I don't like that word. So we'll postpone it until God says so, if you guys believe in God.
Nine. I think it was
But
nine.
the
It was
Cleveland
nine
Lunch and Learn
people.
is absolutely going to happen. We had like I think it was like 8 or 9 people on there. Like I just couldn't tell people
I'm
no.
a
Like
I'm a
I
multifaceted
wanted
entrepreneur.
everybody on there, like everybody in Cleveland that is doing amazing things. From you and your what did you call yourself? It wasn't a mompreneur. What did you? That's what it was. Multifaceted entrepreneur. I have one of my
Yeah.
best friends in life who is a mommy, a model, a momager. She has a magazine. She has like so many things. I had her. I had a friend who does real estate in Cleveland, and you know a lot more people.
Yes.
So you know when this thing is over and we've all survived
Yeah.
it, you know, it's definitely going to come to you guys in an amazing way, in a safe way, and a very informative and entertaining way. So, you know, if you guys go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Quintessential One, and then you'll see all the things that I'm connected with, and you'll have the opportunity
Yes.
to be a part of all the things that are being planned. Make sure you guys also follow the Quintessential Gentleman. You know, it's an amazing publication that highlights
Yes.
all the great things for black and brown men. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yes, black and brown men. um,
Hello.
radio show. It's T Marie Radio Show. We are coming back to that. We're doing that every Thursday at 8:30. You know, everything entertaining,
I have
educating, and
Conversations with
you
Cream
know,
podcast.
just a
I
real
do
good
Coffee with
time.
Cream. I usually
Make
do
sure
it
you
every
guys
Wednesday at
follow
11
all the
a.m.
amazing
on
things that
live.
Cream has going on.
I own 216
What is it?
radio station, so
Conversations with
follow the
Cream.
radio station. I produce a
Um,
couple of shows. My YouTube channel, I have a lot of stuff on
I like
there,
that one.
and I have some other amazing
Mm.
things coming out that I don't want to talk about because people like to sabotage a little. They like to say prayers against your blessings. So I'll post those blessings when it's time for me to post them because I don't need your negative prayers against my blessings. But I can tell you all the things that you can see right now. But I also own
Mm.
TET Entertainment
Mm.
LLC. As I joked on my podcast, if you guys know Q, he has 2 million jobs, and I'm right behind him with 1,999,999 jobs. Exactly, exactly. So, like I said, I'm a multifaceted entrepreneur. Every Saturday, you can catch
One
me
million
on
nine
my
hundred ninety
station.
nine
I have
thousand
a
nine
show on my
hundred
station
ninety
as well.
nine.
So every Saturday from 2 to 4, I always say, get on
Absolutely.
the throne with me on the Elite Radio Show. But my favorite thing is just to tell everybody I'm Cream, aka Miss Cream of the Crop, and welcome to Cream's World. That's my little saying, because that's pretty much what it is. It's a whole world of stuff that I do. I'm pretty sure, oh, a co-author of an ebook.
Yes.
I always leave that out. I forget. I'm working on something else like that too. So anyway, I get nervous when I talk about myself, even though we should learn to do that more. I like for other people to, I like to big up other people, but those are a few things that I do. On top of being an amazing mother. Yes. So, woo, geez. And the thing is that
And you
my
do them
daughter
all
I was
very
already
well.
homeschooling her before this
Congratulations on
quarantine.
getting your
So,
kid through
welcome to my world,
2020.
guys. Um, but yes, I really appreciate everyone for being a part of this live with us and
Mm.
commenting and being engaging. That's what social media is all about. I think people have forgotten what social media is about. I think a lot of people think that getting on social media means coming on and being a thumb gangster or being, you know, let's see what the most
Yes.
negative thing I could possibly say so that I can go viral. But being on social media really means being social, you know. It's nothing wrong with putting a few heart eyes under people's pictures and showing love sometimes. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So thank you guys.
And for those of us
Yes,
exactly supporting people and using your platform, um, using your platform responsibly, as a lot of us are doing. Yeah, we know gossip sells, but be
yes.
responsible. If you have a friend that's out here selling something, it takes nothing to hit that little button to click share or like and things like that. Help us help ourselves. Our community continues to strengthen in those numbers. The
Absolutely.
stimulus money that we've been getting, yeah, go ahead and pay your bills. But if you're gonna put it back into something, put it
And
back
they
into
won't do
something
it until they
that
see
continues to
us
help
begin
build
to
our
do
own
it.
community.
We have to do it.
Because nobody
And
will
it's not a
appreciate
fad,
us,
it's not a
respect
phase.
us
It's
like
100%
us. So let's
love
do that.
for our community and ourselves and our small businesses, because you guys love to put out there
Mm-hmm.
that this is why I don't support black owned businesses. You love putting that out there. Can you please combat that with why you love supporting black owned businesses? Because there are a lot of black owned businesses that I love to support. And I do make, I have a little video that my team puts together, and it's called Spotlight on Black Owned Brands. And I purposely did that because I feel like people have a reason why they don't like supporting us, and they love to talk about that more than they love talking about why they love to support us. So, right, exactly. So provider said we have to help each other. Absolutely. So, I said
Mm-hmm.
we also have to support ourselves. Yes, that's absolutely, absolutely correct. But thank you, Q. I really appreciate you for again being on this platform with me, being open, honest, and transparent. I know this isn't the last conversation with Cream that we're going to have. This isn't the
You
last
Cream.
conversation with Q or Coffee with Q, Coffee with Cream. This is the last time we're going to do this. But I definitely appreciate you and everyone else that